I am of the light, and the light is me. I return to the fullness from which I came. No ruler binds me, no shadow darkens my path. Welcome to Being the Light on the Angel Channel. Good to see you. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, man. I don't know. They roll around like super fast. Tom, what's up, my brother? Inga, good to see you. Been a pretty crazy week. Episode 101. Yeah. That's a lot of shows. Anyway, there's some really crazy solar stuff going on right now. I would expect that we will be we'll feel the effects. There was a huge coronal blast yesterday, and I think within the next 10 or 12 hours, we'll feel the full frontal blast of that. And, just get braced, man. It's some kind of gooky energy, and it does people's crazy stuff to people's fields, and it's just be aware that it's happening. And also, I don't know if you guys pay attention to this or not, but it seems like there is a huge correlation between the solar flares and the incredible amount of solar storms that we've been having, and earthquakes. And man, there's been a gradually increasing, there was bunch of sixes and then a bunch of sevens, and around a bunch of different places. So there was a 7.6 near Japan yesterday, I think, and they got the tsunami. It was super deep. It was 56 kilometers, not kilometers. It was really deep. Yeah, 56 kilometers deep. Yeah, that's correct. I was thinking the depth of the ocean, but it's where it was underneath the crust of the earth. So not a super big tsunami warning, probably 3 or 4 feet, but enough to get everybody's attention. And there have been all kinds of earthquakes, swarms happening around, especially around the Ring of Fire. And it'll be curious to look at the further connection with the solar stuff and the earth getting pulled. The magnetosphere is really low, and we've been getting bombed with all of this magnetic energy that's kind of causing the world to stretch and stuff. It's pretty intense. I haven't ever experienced any kind of geological stuff like this during the course of my life, so it's really interesting to watch. And the 3-eye atlas thing, still just super curious. What is that? Forward facing, solar facing tail? No, that's not the way it's supposed to work. And there's just I'm really looking forward to seeing what the volume of information is, and it's going to be closest to the earth, I think, on the 19th of this month, so just in another week or two. So as it's getting closer and closer, we're getting more info, and pretty cool phenomenon. And there's a bunch of other interstellar rocks that are blowing through too, so pretty interesting time. Love to thank our sponsors, Ernie Mosteller and my friends at Fried Okra Entertainment. Super creative group. And man, they've been a really, Ernie's been there, man, helping us keep this show afloat. And mucho gracias, and many thanks to Ernie. Check out his work at friedokra.tv on his website. super cool work. And my friend Andrea Shuto, who I'm getting ready to shoot a spot for her this weekend. I'm really looking forward to that. She is the purveyor of Audrey's Place here in the Sebring Circle, a really cool B&B. And if you're here in town, hook her up, man. Audrey's Place. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let me get arranged here. So, yeah. Mr. Deloche, good to see you, my brother. Hajati, nice to see you as well. Good evening. Oh, you're welcome, Tom. You know, it's a really curious. There are two really good websites if you have any desire to go look further, man. There's this guy named Stefan, Stphan Burns, and he does a really good job of keeping up on the sun, and he's one of my favorite sources. And there's also a website that I've been going to for a lot of years called Earthmaster, and man, they do a masterful job of mapping like all of the earthquakes all over the globe, and looking at it from a global perspective like that, you can kind of see where tensions happen and like probable. He does a pretty good job of predicting where the next ones are going to be. Not so much on the intensity of it so much, but both of those really great sites. Earthmaster, Stefan Burns. Yeah, scope them out. And speaking of Tom, I'm going to have Tom's wife on next week, Andrea. She is a cranial sacral therapy practitioner, and I've learned a little bit about it since I knew she was coming on. But I've been hearing all kinds of stuff and things popping up in my feeds and stuff about cranial sacral therapy, and I'm looking really forward to having somebody that actually practices with it come on and talk to us and fill me in, man. Because that's a whole area I have not a shred of expertise in. So really looking forward to that. Make sure you guys scope out, show up next week, and maybe scope it out with me. Tom says she is also an energy healer as well. So we'll get the full scope from her next week. Really looking forward to that. Inga just posted in the chat here. Yeah, Stefan Burns there, right? She posted up the link for that. So go check it out. I really want to mention something I'm super excited about, but I really thought hard about whether to identify this person yet or not. And I think I'm just going to keep their name like really hush hush for the moment, just so like they just really cracked the spinning thing, man. And they sent me a really wonderful little video, super huge progress, and I'm like over the moon. Like they kept up with it, stayed on top of it, finally cracked it. Woohoo, 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 woohoo. Kudos, kudos, kudos. So I'm going to throw out the challenge. When you get to 8, and you can do it without worrying about it, then I'll bust out who you are, and we'll share it all. Maybe I even have you come on and talk about it. But in the meantime, you know, when you're first cracking it, I've decided to like just keep that really hush hush and let that go. But I can't tell you, man, what that does for my soul, and my joy just went through the roof seeing somebody actually get it. So you know, we've got a little handful of people like actually getting some projective skills happening, and man, I can't be happier about that. That's the whole reason I'm showing up every week. So keep up the good work, and send me another video, like busting it out, man. Okay, no pressure. Okay. I've kind of touched on the subject I want to like discuss tonight uh, lightly a bunch of times, but um, and my intent is I really want to, it's be in the light. I really want to keep everything in the like happy zone and ways to be feeling good. Um, but I keep getting poked to like share some information that on the surface will seem maybe a little darker. But the intent is like I'm never about like surrendering to bad stuff. There's always a way to like move out of bad stuff. So I've kind of touched on it. We're going to talk about the Gnostics today and sort of where that goes. And also something called the Collins Elite, which I happen to mention a couple times over the last few weeks, which is a government agency that was kind of one of those CIA black ops off to the side sort of scenarios where they were contacting demons and trying to contact aliens and get intelligence information, like calling demons. What a world we live in. So anyway, I first ran across the concept of outside interference, things outside of us that are controlling people's minds or influencing, maybe not controlling isn't the best word, but influencing the way people think and crowds. And like you see trends of the way the world changes and what becomes important and like how it's driven. And I was 17 and I was deeply into the Carlos Castaneda series. And his teacher was a Yaqui Indian sorcerer, and he was talking to Carlos about stuff. And he was talking about the ancient Toltec seers, who were like considered the most gnarliest, like clairvoyants ever. And they were talking about the others, which is like this kind of like alien shadow outside of us that influences what we think and how we act and disguising it as ourselves. And that was the first time I kind of ran across that concept. But over the decades, I've looked into a lot of different disciplines and stuff, and man, there's like a lot of repetitive stuff. You've got the wrathful deities and the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and you've got the Egyptian deities that are waiting to weigh your heart, and like all of that craziness. And I don't know. It was about sometime last year I ran across a bunch of information about the Nag Hammadi library, which is really like a not too far from the pyramids, buried out in the desert. They found a really big jar with a bunch of scrolls in it. The tripartite tractate, the Book of John, the Book of James. There were a bunch of papyruses in there that like told this whole like different story of creation and what happened. So while I don't really go to buy into the dogma of any particular religious kind of like organization or point of view, a lot of this just really rang true and kind of mirrors this same information like presenting itself over the years. So I'm going to go into a little bit about what is the whole like mindset behind the Gnostics. You've heard about that a lot, like, and the Knights Templar were Gnostics, and Yeah. Um, um, and a lot of the early Christians were Gnostics, and their belief was that there was an original true light, and from that true light, he made these 30 eons, and they were all like kind of personalities and represented different attributes. The last one was named Sophia, and this whole like scenario was just it was perfection. It was perfection. Everything was in harmony. Everything ran really great. Like everything was perfect. So Sophia, she was the 30th eon, and interestingly represents wisdom. Decided that she wanted to be a creator as well, and um, created her own being. And that the name of that being is Yaldabaoth. And Yaldabaoth, like, is referred to a lot as the demiurge. And he was devoid of the true spark. Sophia wasn't able to translate that to her creation. So it was empty of that love and that light and that like direction. And it was consumed with being the greatest and being God and being the thing that ruled all things. So it created the earth and the stars and this plane of existence, and wanted to become the worshipped ruler. And it created a bunch of different other beings and deities with it called the archons. And the archons, like, their mode is that they kind of surround the earth, and that they have been manipulating people to stay in the loop of reincarnation and keep coming back and denying the true light. And they represent the spectral reflections. They are not the true light. They are a perversion of the true light. And they operate by not like forcing you to do things, but by getting in your brain and your mind and directing you into these decisions and thought forms and things that you focus on, that while we're alive, we're creating energy that they consume. And then when we die, they recycle our souls again. And it's an insidiously, absolutely perfect machine. So somewhere along the way, Yaldabaoth decided that he wanted to be the ruler of a universe. So he started to create things, and he took dirt, put that together, and tried to create a person. And he made this like his version of Adam. Only it was just dirt, and it had no spark, and it had no life, because they have no light to project into it. Well, the true light projected a spark of itself into the man, and the man became alive and was outside of the rule of Yaldabaoth and his minions. And they created this scenario where they wanted to enslave men and to keep them worshiping them and claiming they're the Yaldabaoth, the only God, the only true God. So since time began, like, that's been there. And if you really step outside of like looking at it from your personal experience mode, and like just look at it as like an engineer or something, the perfection of how it actually works is so like perfect and efficient and does exactly what it's designed to do. with diabolical perfection. However, usually the ways to escape those kind of things are kind of difficult and complicated and not easy to identify. But in this case, the reality is they're not allowed to actually move you. Like they can't touch you. They can't make you do something. They like get in your head and suggest and make it seem like it's your idea. And that's part of where we were at last week with the ego. Like I firmly believe, and this is just a recent realization for me, but I firmly believe that we are like part of what we think is our ego and our need to, especially the darker sides of your ego, like pride and narcissism and like all those like things where the ego worships itself. I don't think that's you. I don't think that's me. I think that's them. And my writing down to blank space, you know how much of a freak I am for that, and how much that has become part of my life experience and ritual on an everyday basis, because it lets you see that, you know, it lets you, when you shut off all of your voices, so it's just silence. When a voice comes in that's not you, you recognize that thing really, really quickly. And you realize as you start to come back to yourself, the real part of you, that's your ego. And like, it doesn't demand all of those other things out there. It's so like not you. So the meditation practice of going to blank space, one of the major tools for that. And again, blank space winds up being the answer to a lot of things. And, you know, I think first and foremost, busting them, like telling them that you're onto the game changes it, because you're no longer as susceptible as you were. So just busting them and going, man, I see you. I know what's going on. This is not me. And this is not the choice I make. And you need to hit the bricks. And that act alone severs a lot of those connections and starts opening you up to your own vision even more, and your own voice. Even more, yeah. The last thing I'm going to mention, and I think this is the most important, is to realize fully, like the grok in fullness. I don't mean grok AI. Grok AI is like ruined that word for me now. To actualize this concept into your light body. And that is the realization that your light body, the light that is you, is an actual spark of the true light. You are the true light. You're not separated from the true light. You are the true light. And when the things show up to tell you that you're not, reclaiming that I am the true light. Like, take that on as a mantra. I am the true light. And really knowing that and projecting that. And as we practice our energy practice and like get bright, that's the way to roll. We could just keep elevating the frequency and opening up our realization to what's going on around us, like open up to the truth. And just keep raising it and raising it and raising it. And we'll do a ride up out of this whole like construct meditation next week. I'm looking, well, maybe the week after. Yeah, I'm looking really, really forward to that. I love going to that place. It's like I want to do it all the time, and I never want to come back. So I'm looking really forward to sharing that with you guys. All right, so the Gnostics, right? And again, I'm not like putting forth like I think this is your truth. This appears to be what's going on. And, you know, since I was really, really young, I had always had a request, man. When I got a chance to ask, I'm always asking, I want to know the biggest truth without going absolutely insane. And this answer has come back on so many, all through my African stuff, man, all of those, the Hindu. I think ultimately, whatever name or how you want to dress it up, or it's the same concept. All right, now let's set that aside for just a second. Oh, and by the way, the meditation tonight is we're going to ride up through the gates of the archons and set ourselves free. So hold on, all is not bad. So I was working on the information in this kind of script for the show, and it's about a month ago. I've been kind of dancing around doing this. And I ran across a bunch of information about something called a Collins Elite. And I got really interested and dug in pretty deep. And the Collins Elite is a group of people, you know, there was that whole like MK Ultra thing, that whole CIA, like psychic research sort of scenario. Well, it branched off into a lot of really obscure little groups, one of them being the Collins Elite. And the way this got started is there was a guy named Jack Parsons, who was one of the early fathers of rocket science. And in the late 40s, he started doing ceremonial magic. And he did a lot of Crowley stuff, and he called a bunch of the goetic entities and started doing this like every night. So during the day, he'd be like the super straight Mr. Rocket Science guy. And then at night, he'd go home and be like the Sorcerer Supreme. So he started having some really, and Jack Parsons is his name again. So like, if you have some interest, look into what he did and where he went with that. And it was some pretty interesting, crazy stuff. So anyway, he started having some real success with contacting these non-human entities, and word spread, and they enlisted him in this group called the Collins Elite. And they started doing their own work with trying to contact these beings. And they enlisted like all of these psychics and occultists and witches. And they were having seances. And they kind of took it to a dark place, though, man. They weren't trying to contact angels or anything. They were looking to contact demons and other entities that would give up information. So this went on for a bunch of years, and somebody decided to hook up with this woman who was considered like one of the best psychics in the world. Her name was Sybil Leek, and she was a witch, man, like true and true. And, you know, she was one of these people that did stuff for like the British royalty, and like she really got around, man, like celebrities and all of that sort of stuff. So she was pretty well known for being authentic and pretty much of a badass. So they got together. Oh, yeah. Okay. Tom is correcting me. It's not Jack Parsons, Jack Parkins. think you're absolutely correct. Thank you for that. Yeah, it was super fascinating, isn't it? So they put together this seance, and um, her mission was to contact the devil. So they wind up having this, putting this whole thing together. There's a bunch of CIA people, a bunch of intelligence people, all kinds of government level individuals. And they wind up having this, starting it up, and like it cranked, and she went somewhere else, and like she starts talking in this voice. It's like 3 or 4 voices at the same time. And it identifies itself with a name that I'm not going to say here. And pretty much just like laid it out like the earth is a farm, and you are cattle, and like goes on for a good while talking about how like a lot of the alien phenomena is like actually them like putting that forth, and all kinds of stuff through history. So like they've been around from the beginning. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, make the connection, right? Um, Hey, Linda, good to see you. Um, after that, seance, a bunch of those people quit, and they would not go back at all. And well, that was because after it got through talking about a bunch of like super classified stuff that nobody had any like leak to, there's be no way that somebody could have gotten this and preloaded this. And he's like just going through all of this info, blowing everybody out, and then like focused on individual people, like to the point of like digging up skeletons and secrets and things no one else in the world knew. And man, it wigged a bunch of people out, and they all quit. So yeah, I don't like feeling controlled, and I don't like anyone's control, whether it's like an AI sort of scenario or entities or aliens or like all of it. You can just like, no. Our whole like energetic environment has been manipulated to like influence us, man. Like 5G energy. You want to see something that spins your head around, go look up the research. There was a ton of research on 4G wavelengths, but the new 5G like stuff that the internet runs on now, man, it has so many health like things that happen bad because of that genetic stuff. Really worth looking into and informing yourself about. All right, so any before we move on, any oh, okay. Tom said that Jack Parkins was an autocorrect, and the actual name was Jack Parsons, the way I originally said it. So let's go scope that out. Yeah, Michael's in. Let's go find an island for sure. Good to see you, my brother. Glad you could make it. So blank space, which we're going to ride down to in just a minute. Turn off all those voices and start being able to recognize your own. Understanding with fullness, not just saying the words, but really believing that you are the true light. And boom, that like, that's the key out of the prison, out of the farm. And bust them. Let them know you know. Like, you're not hiding anymore, man. I see you. I see you. I see you. and you cannot have me. All right, so what we're going to do is create some sacred space, and then we're going to ride down to blank space, and then we're going to ride up through the gates of the archons. And whether this is the archons or the wrathful deities or the others or any other name you want to put on them, it's the same effect. And we're going to set ourselves free. All right. So first of all, let's create some sacred space. With the brilliant light of the source, I banish and clean this space and make this place pure. With the brilliant light of the source, I banish and clean this space. I make this place pure. With the brilliant light of the source, I banish and clean this space and make this place pure. We joyously come together, our energetic family. We create our sacred space, our circle of love and light, a place of safety and sanctuary. We ask that our angels and guides be with us, and that they share their knowledge, their wisdom, and their love of the source. We ask that we have eyes to see, ears to hear, and the wisdom to understand. And with absolute gratitude for all of it, the good, the bad, especially the ugly. Infinite, unconditional love, and our wish for bliss to the source, we open our circle. Yeah, I just pulled a little quick angel card for our journey this evening. Number 5, the angel of healing. Completion and a new beginning. You have succeeded. Okay, we should just stop. Perfected your art, and you will feel balance, satisfaction, and joy. Make plans to enjoy the fruits of your hard work. Romantically, you could be forming sound foundations. It will be a rich, satisfying match. Your mind is buzzing, creative and sharp now. Seeds you planted begin to bear fruit. Rewards will be received for your past efforts, and abundance will be the word of the hour, and prosperity rules. Meet and beat your present challenge, and you will feel a sense of completion, the welcomed regeneration when opposite energies finally harmonize. These moments are a deep soul cleansing. Celebrate and be generous with your treasure. Show appreciation to those who supported you. Give yourself permission to be your biggest self. Allow your higher spirit to assist you in lending assistance to others. Life is a beautiful celebration. Embrace it at every turn of the road. You are a seeker on the path, enjoying the comfort of being spiritually centered, secure in the knowledge of actions, completing the karmic contract. Your course has been established and proven. Feedback is excellent. Let there be celebration. Wow, good card. All right. Get comfy. We're going to take a ride down to blank space. Let's make this one really count tonight. First thing I want you to do before we start breathing is to consciously focus on your shoulders and your neck and this like area right up in here, and just shake that out a little bit. Like, man, you realize how much tension you hold in there, and that restricts the flow of your energy. So just take a second to shake that out a little bit. Just let yourself just completely let loose. All right. All right, we're going to do 3 really deep breaths. On the inhale, I want you to use your solar plexus and draw with your solar plexus. Draw in through your nose. And we're not going to be pulling air. We're going to be pulling bright gold source energy. So bright, it's almost white, warm and healing. And as you take that in through your nostrils, let it flow down through your body. If you've got some specific physical thing you need help with, focus your intent before you start your breath and send all of that energy right to that place. All right. And then on the exhale, and I want you to fill your chest up like as much as you can. Like when you start pulling it in and you think you're full, pack a little more in there. All right. And then on the release, we're just going to be like tuning our breath with shutting down, like our thoughts, our attention, anything going on in the world. And we're going to ride down to a place, when I say silence, we're going to just like freeze frame and just turn your thoughts off, turn everything off. And if you can hold that for 5, 6, 7 seconds, you'll start to write grooves that let you get back to that space easier and easier and easier. And then start increasing that time until you're at a point where you can go there quickly and you can stay there as long as you want. And when you're in the space of like blank space, you're in the superposition quantum field where all potential lies. All right. We're going to do 2 where it's going to be like a maybe 8 to 10 second hold. On the last one, we're going to hold it for 30. And, don't try to hold your breath for that. But once you run out of air on the initial breath, just try to take a really deep, really shallow, light breath and just give yourself enough just to ride through until we get to 30 seconds. Okay. And then I want you just to stay there. And we're going to talk through a journey. All right. So here we go. Inhale. Use your solar plexus. In through the nose. Really stretch it out. And release. The noise, the sounds of the world, the chaos fades away. No mind. Sinking into the bliss. Deeper. Silence. And inhale, drawing that gold light. Really pack it in there. And release, sinking deeper into the blissful stillness. No thoughts, no time. deeper silence. All right, last one, 30-second hold. Inhale. Really stretch it, pack it as much as you can, bright gold. And release. Caressed by the quiet. Sinking deeper, deeper. Silence. $15. And 30. Take a nice breath. Stay in that space. So you're in the shape of your body, but it's energy. And the energy is flowing around and circling through the network of your body and your light body. And you're glowing, you're floating in the golden energy ocean. And you begin to rise up higher, up to the sky. Stars, brilliant. And you can see a gate off in the distance, and you move towards it. But before you get to the gate, you do an invocation of empowerment. I invoke you, the one who created all heaven and earth, who created the night and the day, who created the light and the darkness. You are I. I am you. I am sovereign. I am light. I am not bound. Make way for me, O rulers of the spheres. I come bearing the ineffable name. By the mysteries of the light, let your bonds be loosed. Let your gates be opened. E-O-E, I-A-O, A-O, O-O-O. You find yourself at a moonlit gate, and behind it, a glowing, transparent spirit blocks your way. You say the invocation, oh, Aya, ooh, your changefulness cannot sway me. I rest in the still light within. E-O-E, I-A-O, ah-ooh, O-O-O. The illusions fade like mist. The gate opens and you walk through. You come to the next gate. O Sabaoth, your war is not mine. I walk in peace and compassion. The weapons drop, the path clears. E-O-E, I-R-U, ah-oo, O-O-O. You reach the next gate, a gate of burning fire. Behind it, a being made of fire with a glowing sword blocks the passageway. O Adonaios, your throne burns with pride. True sovereignty is humility before the light. I do not bow to tyranny, but to truth. The blazing throne dissolves into clear daylight. E-O-E, I-A-O, Ah-oo, O-O-O. You walk through the gate as the being disappears. You approach the next gate, huge, made of metal. O Eloios, keeper of law and burden of decree, your chains weigh heavy, but mercy outweighs judgment. I break the bonds in balance and rise free. The decrees crumble, to chains dissolve into light. E-O-E, I-O, I-O-U, O-O-O. You come to the next gate. It's made of glowing gold and diamonds. O Astaphias, radiant and false delight, your beauty blinds those who forget the soul. I see through your glamour to the heart of pure love. The shimmer fades, revealing the quiet glow of love. E-O-E, I-A-O, A-O-U, O-O-O. Bellius, oh Bellius, whisperer of deceit, your tongues twist the paths of the mind. The logos within me speaks the truth that scatters lies. The serpent recoils, the air clears in still clarity. E-O-E, I-A-U, A-O-U, O-O-O. And now you walk to a huge gate with an enormous throne behind it. Sitting there is a being with a lion's head and a serpent's body. Oh, Yaldabaoth, lion-faced, maker of illusion, your fire forged the prison of stars. Yet light is beyond your grasp. I know your name and pass through unbound. The lion's roar fades into stillness. The veil tears open. E-O-E, I-O-U, A-O-U, O-O-O. And finally, on the other side, the undoing of the seals, by the mystery of undoing all bonds and of all the seals with which the rulers have bound the soul, I am freed. I ascend. I pass beyond your power. I am a spark of the Plamora. I descend and ascend by the ineffable name. No ruler shall bind me. I am sealed in light. The way is open. The path is clear. The rulers fall away and the eons shine. So it is, so it is, so shall it be. Yummy. All right, I want you to start floating back to your body. Take a nice deep breath, and with each in and out, come more to your senses. Your worldly awareness, but awareness with your freedom. We cut the ties. Your voice is your voice. Your light is the light. I am the light. I am the true light. I am a spark of the all. All righty. Yeah, talking after that seems a little weird. Okay. So, yeah, wow, that ate up a little bit of time. But as always, if there's anybody out there looking for a card reading, happy to accommodate you. And, just want to remember there's still enough time to get a deck out for Christmas, and happy to include an hour-long full card reading with each deck up until Christmas. So if you get a chance, wizardofod.com, grab one and give the gift of the spirit for Christmas. Yeah, so as always, hit that like and subscribe. I'd love if you guys would leave me a comment down below and let me know. Like, I'm thinking of doing some changes to the show, and I'd love to know what parts of the show you guys really enjoy. If there's stuff you'd rather me skip, give me a little input on how you're digging the flow and where we could go to keep evolving it to something really super cool. And hey to Og, yeah, Yaldabaoth, you and me, yeah. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jason. Yeah, Inga as well. I'm glad, so love it when you guys get it, man. It makes me really feel gratified. Thanks a lot. You're so welcome, Tom. Yeah. And I'll see you Sunday, if not before. All right. Well, it looks like we have reached the end of our journey for this evening. It was a really great one, man. I feel like I'm still like off over there, man. I love being free. If somebody had said to me, like, asked me, what in a word, like one word, what's the most important thing to you? Freedom. Being free. Completely, totally free. And that's how I feel right now. So anyway, thanks for sharing with me. As always, love some input. And until next week. We joyously close our circle and conclude our meeting this evening and send everyone happily on their way. We thank the angels and our guides for their presence, their wisdom, and their love of the source. And with absolute gratitude for all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, infinite unconditional love, and our wish for bliss to the source. Until next week.